Greetings and salutations. This is Chief Security Officer Don Cornelio of American Muscle Security LLC, in conjunction with Parent Group Confidential LLC, in conjunction with American Muscle Stack Books Foundation, Parent Group Confidential. Salute to everybody as with us during Operation Reforge. This is Operation Get Well USA, and I am your host, is Donnie the Guard. Badge number 11516464772, bodyguard, whistleblower, watchdog, search party coordinator, means special police. I did say police. And Operation Get Well USA is still under the way. This is Operation Meshach and Abednego, and I'm your host. It's Donnie the Guard. It is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, 7:16 p.m. Uptown in the Carnegie Public Library on the second floor. If you want to join me via Zoom, you know how to contact me, stackbooksfoundation@gmail.com, 412-587-9549. It's study time. So we're going to study something a little bit different. I haven't studied this in a while because I passed this class, but I want to take it over. Any class that I got either a good grade, a semi-good grade, or even if I feel like I got like a perfect score, I want to take it over and over again if I feel like it's that vital and that valuable to my career as a forensics officer, or even, a paralegal, whatever, any facet of the law. I want to get this stuff ingrained, okay? So it's not about getting 100%, a 90%, an 80%, a 70%, a 60%, or anything below the percentile of a passing grade. It's about the information being ingrained so that I know it like the back of my hand. I know it like I'm waking up in the morning. The first thing I do is put on my socks and my shoes, or go to the restroom, brush my teeth, everything in orderly fashion, okay? Not without skipping to 4 or 5 in, the order of operation. Start with 1, 2, 3. Every time I wake up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's natural. So this is the 9/11 Commission report, and we usually start with, we have some planes, and it's just in my phone somewhere, and I could locate it, but that would take too much time. So I want to start with heroism and horror. Okay. 9.1 preparedness as of September 11th. So this is part of the 9/11 Commission report. This was for a class that I took called terrorism and why it happens. Again, this is for study purposes only. I do not own this intellectual property. Do not monetize this recording. That's it. I'm not a Pittsburgh police officer. I am not a Pittsburgh police officer or law enforcement officer. I do not work for the FBI. I do not work for the CIA or the DEA or any entity at all along those lines. I'm self-employed forensic consultant / officer for my own laboratory, and you already know the name by now. If you don't, I guess that's why it's confidential. All right, so emergency response. Okay, this is preparedness as of September 11th. I'm going to show it to you. Okay. Can't lie about that stuff right here. All right, so emergency response is a product of preparedness. On the morning of September 11, 2001, the last best hope for the community of people working in or visiting the World Trade Center rested not with national policymakers, but with private firms and local public servants, especially the first responders, fire, police, emergency medical service, and building safety professionals. Okay? Building preparedness. The World Trade Center, WTC complex was built for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Construction began in 1966. Remember this year. And tenants began to occupy its space in 1970. The Twin Towers came to occupy a unique and symbolic place in the culture of New York City and America. The World Trade Center actually consisted of 7 buildings, including 1 hotel spread across 16 acres of land. The buildings were connected by an underground mall, the concourse. The Twin Towers, 1 World Trade Center, or the North Tower, 2 World Trade Center, or the South Tower, were the signature structures containing 10.4 million square feet of office space. Both towers had 110 stories, were about 1,350 feet high, and were square. Each wall measured 208 feet in length. On any given workday, up to 50,000 office workers occupied the towers, and 40,000 people passed through the complex. Each tower contained 3 central stair walls, which ran essentially from top to bottom, and 99 elevators. Generally, elevators originating in the lobby ran to sky lobbies on higher floors, where additional elevators carried passengers to the tops of the buildings. Stairwalls A and C ran from the 110th floor to the raised mezzanine level of the lobby. Stairwell B ran from the 107th floor to level B6, 6 floors below ground, and was accessible from the west lobby level, which was 1 floor below the mezzanine. All 3 stairwells ran essentially straight up and down, except for 2 deviations in stairwells A and C, where the staircase jutted out toward the perimeter of the building. On the upper and lower boundaries of these deviations were transfer hallways contained within the stairwell proper. Each hallway contained smoke doors to prevent smoke from rising from lower to upper portions of the building. They were kept closed but not locked. Doors leading from tenant space into the stairwells were never kept locked. Re-entry from the stairwells were generally possible on at least every 4th floor. Doors leading to the roof were locked. There was no rooftop excavation plan. The roofs of both the north and south tower were sloped and cluttered surfaces with radiation hazard, making them impractical for helicopter landings and as staging areas for civilians. Although the south tower roof had a helipad, it did not meet 1994 Federal Aviation Administration guidelines. The 1993 terrorist bombing of the World Trade Center and Port Authority response, unlike most of America, New York City, and specifically the World Trade Center, had been the target of terrorist attacks before 9/11. At 2:18 p.m. on February 26, 1993, 1,500-pound bomb stashed in a rental van was detonated on a parking garage ramp beneath the Twin Towers. The explosion killed 6 people, injured about 1,000 more, and exposed vulnerabilities in the World Trade Centers and the city's emergency preparedness. The towers lost power and communications capabilities. Generators had to be shut down to ensure safety, and elevators stopped. The public address system and emergency lighting systems failed. The unlit stairwells filled with smoke and were so dark as to be impassable. Rescue efforts by the Fire Department of New York were hampered by the inability of its radios to function in buildings as large as the Twin Towers. The 911 emergency call system was overwhelmed. The general evacuation of the tower's occupants via the stairwells took more than 4 hours. Several small groups of people who were physically unable to descend the stairs were evacuated from the roof of the South Tower by New York Police Department helicopters. At least 1 person was lifted from the North Tower roof by NYPD in a dangerous helicopter rappel operation 15 hours after the bombing. General knowledge that these air rescues had occurred appears to have left a number of civilians who worked in the Twin Towers with the false impression that helicopter rescues were part of the World Trade Center evacuation plan, and that rescue from the roof was viable, if not favored, option for those who worked on the upper floors. Although there were considered after 1993 helicopter evacuations, in fact, were not incorporated into the World Trade Center fire safety plan. To address the problems encountered during the response to the 1993 bombing, the Port Authority spent an initial $100 million to make physical, structural, and technological improvements to the World Trade Center, as well to enhance its fire safety plan and reorganize and bolster its fire safety and security staffs. Substantial enhancements were made to power sources and exits, fluorescent signs, and markings were added in near stairwells. The Port Authority also installed a sophisticated computerized fire alarm system with redundant electronics and control panels, and state-of-the-art fire command stations were placed in the lobby of each tower.